Black Americans are urged to reconsider political allegiances as loyalty yields symbol over substance. Strategic voting rather than habitual is essential for meaningful change. Will the Democratic Party finally address Black America's demands, or will history repeat itself?
Listen to me very carefully. The Democrats think we're stupid enough to fight their battles while they give us nothing. They want our outrage on immigration but won't cut us a single check. That game is over.
The opening dissects the perceived transactional imbalance between the Democratic Party and Black Americans. It underscores a lack of tangible benefits offered despite loyal voter support. This theme echoes historical grievances over political promises unfulfilled, such as debates around reparations and concrete policy changes. The critique aligns with widespread frustration over symbolic gestures rather than substantive policy shifts, which many activists argue have long been overdue.
You know what's fascinating from a psychological standpoint? Watching the Democratic Party use the exact same playbook they've been running on Black people for 60 years, expecting us to fall for it again. They dangle a crisis, manufacture urgency, point at the Republicans as the villain, and then expect us to mobilize, protest, donate, and vote like our lives depend on it. And here's the twisted part. They do all of this without ever, and I mean ever, putting anything concrete on the table specifically for Black America.
Exploration of the Democrats' approach reveals a strategy hinging on crisis mobilization without tailoring policies to Black Americans. This reflects broader criticisms regarding political parties manipulating minority votes without meaningful engagement. Such tactics have historical roots in election cycles where urgency is manufactured to galvanize support without substantial commitment.
Right now, they're trying to whip us into a frenzy over immigration policies. They want us out in the streets, holding signs, chanting, organizing. They want our social media presence, our cultural capital, our moral authority. They need us to be the face of resistance because, let's be honest, Black people protesting carries weight in this country. It triggers something in the American conscience. They know this, they've studied this, and they're trying to exploit it without compensation. But here's what they're not going to do. They're not going to offer us reparations. They're not going to pass targeted legislation that addresses the specific harms done to Black Americans through centuries of enslavement, Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, and economic exclusion. They're not going to create a Marshall Plan for Black America. They're not going to eliminate the racial wealth gap. They won't even give us the anti-lynching bill without watering it down or delaying it for decades. So let me break down the psychology of what's happening here, because this is manipulation 101. When someone repeatedly...
The narrative identifies a recurring pattern of exploitation, pointing to a systemic failure to prioritize legislative interests of Black communities. There's an underlying call to be wary of transactional dynamics, where promises of policy change serve as mere tools for persuasion, unsupported by action. The prolonged wait for impactful laws like the anti-lynching bill exemplifies this manipulation.
Asks you to invest your energy, your time, your emotional labor, and your resources into their priorities while consistently refusing to address yours. That's not a partnership. That's exploitation. That's a one-sided relationship where you're the giver and they're the taker, and the power dynamic is designed to keep you in that position permanently. The Democratic Party has built its entire modern electoral strategy on Black voter loyalty. They count on us showing up at rates of 85, 90, sometimes 95%. We are their most reliable voting bloc. We are the foundation of their coalition. Without Black voters, the Democratic Party doesn't win the presidency, doesn't control the Senate, doesn't flip state houses. We are essential to their power. Essential. And what do we get in return? Symbolism? Kente cloth photo ops? Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday which costs them nothing. Statements, press releases, promises to address systemic racism that never materialize into policy. Meanwhile, every other group that contributes less to their electoral success gets more tangible benefits. That's not an accident. That's strategy. Here's the strategic analysis. The Democrats have calculated that they don't have to give us anything because we have nowhere else to go. They believe we're trapped. They think the Republicans are so hostile to Black interests that we'll vote Democratic no matter what. So why should they spend political capital actually delivering for us? Why risk alienating white moderates or other constituencies when they've got Black voters locked in regardless? This is the same logic abusive partners use. Where are you going to go? Who else is going to want you? It's designed to make you feel like you have no options, no leverage, no power, and the moment you accept that framing, you've lost. But here's what they're miscalculating.
Dive unpacks the exploitative relationship mechanics, with black voter reliability juxtaposed against legislative neglect. This relationship resembles an imbalance often seen in power dynamics, where loyalty offers little leverage. The argument highlights the societal invisibility of tangible benefits while tokenistic gestures are championed.
Black America is waking up to the game. We're watching them roll out the red carpet for every other community while we get crumbs and lectures about pragmatism. We're watching them find billions for foreign aid, trillions for corporate bailouts, but suddenly become fiscal conservatives the moment black people ask for targeted investment. We're watching them fight harder for undocumented immigrants than they ever fought for descendants of American slavery. And let me be clear, this is not about being against immigrants. This is about power dynamics and priorities. If you're going to ask me to show up for your cause, you better show up for mine first. That's how alliances work. That's how coalition politics work. You can't expect solidarity to be a one-way street. The no tangibles, no vote position is not emotional. It's not reactionary. It's strategic leverage being applied in the only place where Black Americans actually have power in this system, our votes. That's the commodity. That's the bargaining chip. And the entire game changes when you're willing to withhold it. From a financial standpoint, think about this like a business negotiation. You have something valuable that someone else needs. Your vote. They want to acquire it. What's your price? What are the terms? If you're giving away your most valuable asset for free, or for empty promises, or for symbolic gestures, you're a terrible negotiator. You're leaving money on the table. Worse, you're training the other party that they can get what they want from you without ever delivering value in return. So here are the options Black America needs to consider moving forward. Option 1, maintain leverage through strategic withholding. Don't commit your vote until there are specific, written, funded policy commitments, not rhetoric, not intentions, actual legislation with budget allocations, timelines, and accountability mechanisms. Make them put it in writing, make them pass it through committee, make them fight for it publicly. Your vote is the reward for delivery, not the down payment for promises. Option 2, build independent political power. This means supporting Black independent candidates, creating Black political organizations that aren't subordinate to the Democratic Party apparatus, developing media platforms that aren't beholden to mainstream liberal narratives, and building economic institutions that reduce dependence on systems designed to extract from Black communities. Political independence requires economic independence. Option 3, force primary challenges. If Democrats in Black districts aren't delivering, primary them with candidates who will. Make incumbency dangerous for people who take Black voters for granted. Create consequences for non-performance. This is basic accountability, and it's stunning how rarely it's applied. Option 4, demand mediators and enforcement. When negotiating policy commitments involve third-party oversight, whether that's community organizations, legal agreements, or public tracking systems, create mechanisms that make it costly for politicians to renege on their promises. Trust is earned, not given. Option 5, build coalitions based on mutual benefit, not guilt. Work with other communities when there's shared interest and reciprocal support. But understand that moral appeals to our better nature are often manipulation tactics. Strategic alliances are built on mutual benefit, not one group perpetually sacrificing for everyone else's priorities. Here's the bottom line. The Democratic Party will continue to play with Black America as long as we allow it. They will continue to extract our votes, our energy, our credibility, and our labor without delivering material benefits as long as we accept that arrangement. The only thing that changes this dynamic is leverage, and the only leverage we have is our willingness to say no. No tangibles, no vote is not about helping Republicans. It's about forcing Democrats to compete for Black votes the same way they compete for every other constituency. It's about making our support conditional on performance. It's about rejecting the psychological manipulation that keeps us locked in a cycle of exploitation. They want us protesting about immigration? Fine. But first, they need to pass reparations. They need to eliminate the racial wealth gap. They need to invest in Black communities at the same level they invest in everyone else. They need to make Black America whole before asking us to defend their other priorities. And if they can't do that, if they won't do that, then they don't get our votes. It's that simple. No more guilt trips, no more fear-mongering about the other side, no more symbolic gestures, results or nothing. This is about respect. This is about recognizing that Black America deserves to be treated like a valued partner, not a captive audience. And the only way to command that respect is to demonstrate that we're willing to walk away from any arrangement that doesn't serve our interests. The Democrats are playing with us because we've allowed them to. The moment we stop allowing it, the entire game changes, and that moment needs to be now. No tangibles, no vote. Make them earn it, make them prove it, make them deliver. Anything less is disrespect, and we don't accept disrespect anymore.
The discussion shifts towards actionable strategies, emphasizing the need for Black political autonomy and leverage. There's an appeal for accountability and concrete policy proposals, steering away from empty promises. Increasing demand for independence and self-representation echoes historical movements for political clout and legislative equity.